Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander viewers should exercise caution when watching this program, as it may contain images of deceased persons.
It's hard to ignore the incredible impact Indigenous football players have, and the Bulldogs Noongar team are certainly a force to be reckoned with.
But it's more than just about winning. Football brings people and communities together, and the Bulldogs take community and family involvement to a whole new level.
We'll also hear from a Noongar AFL star that made it all the way to the grand final last year. Greta Jaziak reports.
Playing football is just one reason these young men come together. For the Bulldogs Noongar side, team is family. But for Buddy Pickett, it takes on a much more literal meaning.
It's pretty much been in my family since I was a kid, since I can remember. My father and his father before me, so they started it. So pretty much I wouldn't play for any other team. So it means a lot to me, yeah.
Buddy's grandfather, Alistair Pickett, coached the Bulldogs from its inception and is still heavily involved in the team to this day.
My relationship with the Bulldog is, when I first started off, as family. It's more or less, to me, it was a family-orientated football team. And it started off with, most of them were my nephews, my three sons, and I think the rest of them were all like, I'm more or less like a father figure to a lot of them.
Without a club ground or an oval, this grassroots team relies on its massive support network, an unbreakable bond for success.
One of the things that we look for in a team is that you've got a group of people that, come together to play footy, but it's actually more than that. It's really around establishing friendships, but also if you look at what footy is, and if you look at our culture, we're very, very competitive.
Coach Martin Smith believes the strong culture and sense of family is the reason why the Bulldogs have been such a popular team.
We were throwing it around as a coaching group, and we asked ourselves the question: why is it they want to come to us? And some of the guys are saying yes, we've been fairly successful over the years, but also too I think we've developed a fairly solid culture around how we play football.
The boys come together once a year to play as the Bulldogs in Indigenous carnivals, and when they do, the results are magic. In 2015, the Bulldogs proved to be unbeatable, winning the Bunbury Guaba Cup for yet another year.
The Bulldogs mean pretty much everything to me since I was a kid, so it's just meaning more and more every year.
Like others in the team, Buddy aspired to reach AFL level, but it's not an easy road.
When you look at the number of young Noongar men coming through the Colt system, as opposed to what stay in the system, there's a big difference. The waffle and the AFL, they really need to look at that.
I've used footy as sort of a tool since I was a kid to keep my mind focused on setting goals for myself and sort of aspiring to be better than what I am, and I think that's definitely helped me. You get looked at as a role model, and you want to sort of be a person to sort of set standards for kids growing up and making paths for them as well.
Hopefully kids can, look up to us, and hopefully, if they want to be an AFL football player one day, and can reach that goal.
Growing up, I wasn't the most perfect kid, and I got up to a bit of mischief myself, and I suppose footy's the sort of way out.
Obviously, if you got a goal, you set it, and nothing can stop you from doing it if you put your mind and everything to it, and you make the right decisions on and off the field. And I just say put your studies and education first, because football is going to be there, but you can't always make that your number one priority.
Now we're joined by Curtin University Senior Research Fellow Sean Gorman, who has a special interest in Indigenous Australian studies, and former AFL player Dale Kickett. Welcome. One of the questions I suppose that a lot of people ask, and it's been asked and chucked around family, is that there's a lot of Indigenous people that play AFL, but a majority of them are Noongars. Would you know why that is, and what's the stat?
Well, the stat on terms of it, Neil, is actually it's significant. It's around about 22%, and ever since the figures have been taken in the AFL from about 1904 up until the current day, 1897 up until the current day, it runs at around about 22%. So even today, you've got 9% of Aboriginal people that make up all team lists. That is still for Noongar men, make up around about 22-23% of the competition's playing list, which is massive. And you've only got to run through the names, Bennell, Jeddah, Franklin, just a few. But it's a huge amount of people, given it's from one particular part of WA.
What do you think, Dale, that there are a lot of Noongars that are playing AFL, they get up there?
Well, if just recently we've had a few carnivals. Might have mentioned earlier, say the Bunbury Carnival, or the Stephen Michael, or the Nicky Winmar Cup, or the Marley. You've only got to go and watch the fierceness of the competition between us ourselves to understand why there are so many people going into the AFL.
Sean, what can you share about the history of the Indigenous players in the AFL?
The history goes back a little bit further than some people think. Some people thought it was with Joe Johnson in 1904, playing with Fitzroy. He played 55 games as a defender and was in one of their premiership sides. But it actually goes back further to a fellow by the name of Albert Pompey Austin, who came up from the Framlingham Mission in 1872 to play for Geelong. He played one game. But in 1982, you start to see a change with the VFL, which is now the AFL, and that comes about through three players. Maurice Rioli, who was recruited from South Fremantle to go and play with Richmond, wins the Norm Smith Medal and just had a fantastic season with Richmond. And also the Cracker brothers, Jimmy and Phil, who played with Claremont and then went over to play with North Melbourne. And the reasons why those players in particular are very important is because it's the first time that the VFL see a serious concentration of really, really good quality footballers.
Dale, what were some of the issues that you had in your playing day?
Even though I was around 20 when I first got drafted, I don't think I was mature enough to, as a footballer, and as a person, most young Aboriginal blokes think that they're men when they turn 13, 14. But as a footballer, I'd just come out of Tamman. We trained, if we trained, once or twice a week. I would have been hunting kangaroos, jugging, doing all that sort of stuff. So a lot of the issues and problems, I suppose, come out of people not understanding where we'd come from.
Thank you for joining us. Your insight has been really great. Enjoyed the conversation with both of you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Neil. Cheers.
Cheers, mate.